anime that seems to really enjoy the less is more aesthetic. And what I mean by that is, there's a lot of shows where people fight and they have these over the top attacks and they're really powerful. But like even in the case of Dai Han, when he's got his stances or whatever they are, he calls out the stance, but it's really just one punch. It's like it's a single punch with extra effects around it. And the fact that he does so much by moving so little is it's so cool. I like movements that have impact in them.
I'm excited to see the power scaling, dude. The power scaling just looks crazy. They call it the Dragon Ball of webtoons.
Really?
Yeah, because of all the freaking power scaling. You got people with like stand powers and stuff like that.
Oh, does it get more ridiculous as the series goes on, or?
Dude, you can tell like in the very first episode, the guy kills like there was like it starts off with like some two people on the island trying to blackmail, I guess, the owner of the tournament or whatever. And the guy just like slams his desk, and you see an image of the guys on the island looking up, and a hand actually like slams down on the island.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like God. Crazy powerful. Some people just oh wait, like we didn't even intro the show. Sean, no.
I was like, bro, I didn't want to stop it.
I was gonna say when that hand comes down on the island, it's like me when I smack my wife's butt. I'm like, I'm gonna obliterate it.
Oh.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Soccer. We're joined by Sean Shiplock, aka Sonic Mega, which we gotta talk about your name. And we're joined by No Good Soon as always. Sean is a Twitch streamer and a voice actor. He will be playing Dowie in Gada High School coming up. He's also Natsumi in ReZero, which the dub comes out on the 26th. You got
dude, this is a hell of a week for me. We've got God of High School on the 24th, ReZero Season 2 starting on the 26th, and then either on the evening of the 26th or early on the 27th, we got the game of my childhood, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, releasing. I'm going to be streaming that 7 days straight, so I hope people will tune in for that, both for single player and multiplayer.
11 a.m. PST start time each day with a gifted sub after every completed stage and one game copy giveaway after each completed year. And there's going to be a Twitter raffle at the end of the 7 days, so make sure you definitely follow him at Sonic Mega, and his Twitch channel is the same thing, Sonic Mega. You're also pushing for partnership, man.
I am being dead serious when I tell people you do not need to sub to me. I don't care about getting your money. I really just want the viewers. And the reason isn't because I want to be like popular or famous. It's because when you hit partner, you get all of these widgets and access to things like multi-streaming, team streaming that makes it easier to collaborate with other Twitch streamers. Because I've had people say, hey, let's play co-op together on Crystal Chronicles. And it would be so cool if we could both be sharing our stream screens at the same time, but that's not accessible to you if you're not a partner. And also the fact that I have my established Twitch schedule, and there are times when I'm like playing different games outside of that, and I'm like, man, I would love to stream this right now because this really cool thing happened that I didn't expect, but it's not worth doing it because it's going to tank my viewership average if I stream it and people are like, oh, I didn't know you were streaming again all of a sudden. But when you hit partner, as long as you're active, it's not like you're forced to maintain the 75 viewer average. So once I hit partner, the freedom that I get in streaming more consistently, Twitch is like, we want you guys to stream as often as you want to because we want viewership, we want the ad revenue. Okay, Twitch, if you want me to stream more often, let me have access to these partner tools because then I'll want to stream more often. So I don't care about the money. I don't care about like becoming famous or anything. I really just want to get that viewership average high enough that I can hit partner and have that offered to me. That is my goal right now.
Oh man, you got this. What's dumb is they announced that freaking was it the collab, the team streaming thing a while ago.
Yep.
But like Mixer's like broken down, and they had it like from the start. I think.
Yep.
Maybe like a little bit going into it, but they had it right away. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted that because right now the only thing you could pretty much do is multi-twitch.tv.
Okay.
If you want to get other people's aspects, like they could just, but it's only through PC, so they have to like put multi-Twitch TV and then like / Sonic Mega / the next person you're playing with, and then it holds up to I think 4, but you can see all 4 people on one thing, and you get to control the chats. The chats a lot better. But yeah, the multi-stream would be freaking amazing if, especially I know I've watched Bryson Bogus. He played recently.
Bryson, yeah. He's a good colleague friend of mine.
He is so dope. I watched him recently play Fall Guys, and I told him, I said, you win this. Oh no, your friend Joe wins this, and I'll give 5 subs. And he came in super clutch and won it. And it was
so cool.
It was pretty dope, man. Let's talk about God High School, man. We were just talking about it before we forgot. Boom, we forgot to even do the intro, man. You just got announced for Dowie, who is I think he had one episode where a lot of people didn't like him, but we find out the story behind him. What I like about this anime is I think they did it different from the webtoons. I think the webtoons, they doing like everybody's past like right away. But with the anime, the pacing, it's so much better. Like we learned about Dowie and his friend and how it affects him and why he's doing the tournament.
Is there something I'll do both sides of this. Well, no, I'll do the one side because I don't want to get off the wrong impression. Is there something that you personally feel was made better after it got animated rather than just being a part of the manga? Like now that you got to see this in animated format, it is more impactful, or it has a stronger, no pun intended, punch to it than it did just seeing it in a panel by panel format.
I would say the pacing. Like I said, like in the webtoons, you just didn't really care. It's like they do it, you just wanted to get to the action. With this one, the character development is a lot better. So we care more about Dowie, or we care more about Jin.
Actually, I would disagree with you. With you. I actually like all the background stuff. Like all the characters, like a lot of their stuff got explained in the webtoon. Like the dude with the bat, I forget his name, is like Bike, I think that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the main characters, it felt like their backstories were more fleshed out, and you understood why things were happening, and like what they were fighting for, and like they gave more perspective to his friend in the manga. You know, the dude who was sick in the anime, and I don't know, I really do like how it was animated because I've never seen it animated, obviously, and you know it's really cool we get to see it animated. But I liked the pacing in the webtoon better because it really fleshed out and showed more things, and the author notes were always so cool to look at. So. I don't know.
I went back and looked at it. Like I said, it's a disagreement. My perspective is they showed like a lot of backstory for people that are out in like episode 2 or 3. Like the guy with the bat, like you don't even see him no more.
I don't want to spoil anything, but he does come back.
He got out of there like a bat out of hell.
Yo, actually, and you know it's funny because in the manga, since he's so smart, right? Dowie actually went to him to find a way to counter the Taekwondo. He went to him to learn to counter it. But they don't show that in the anime because the pacing is so crazy. Like in 4 episodes, they've already covered 30 chapters. That's how absurdly fast the pacing is in the anime. Like I like, it's cool. I like the action. I like the way they're animating it. Like it's not bad, but I do dislike that they left out a lot of things. That's it. That's the only like thing I have with it right now. Otherwise, it's really good.
I do feel like that's a compromise you end up having to make whenever you bring something anime. I think the usual rule of thumb is a single anime episode in general covers about between 2 to 4 chapters of a manga. So depending on how many the company decides to cover, sometimes you end up with like the Harry Potter effect, where you have X amount of time and X and Y amount of content, and you've got to figure out what you're willing to put in and what you have to leave out.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. But then, like, they also like moved a few scenes, like they changed them up, like, and that's the thing that I'm just like, I mean, because the thing with the old man Bongchim, like they introduced him a while ago, and he had a fight with Park, with Mujin Park, that's what his name was. Yeah, he had a fight with him, and then they skipped that whole thing, the whole thing with the divine pellets. Mori actually got those in the basement because he wandered in there. And he was hungry. And Mujin didn't give them to him.
Whenever I'm playing Pac-Man now and I get those super orbs for the ghosts, that's what I'm going to call them from now on, is divine pellets.
Divine pellets. I like.
Or like when you're constipated and you finally pass through, we'll call those divine pellets too.
Oh,
it's over. It's finally over. The blessings of God.
When did you start playing video games? Like how old were you?
My mom likes to say that I used to kick so much when I was in the womb that she had to swallow a Game Boy to shut me up. So if her account is true, then I might have already been gaming before. I almost imagine that, like, when she gave birth, the doctor was like, "It's a boy," and I was going, "Put me back in, put me back in." The lighting was perfect in there. I could see the screen. But the earliest game that I remember was definitely from the NES era. Games like Mega Man 6, RBI Baseball. What was the one I played all the time? I think I played a fair amount of Super Mario Brothers 2, but NES was definitely the first console. It was Game Boy that solidified the gaming addiction, though. Like Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, Dragon Warrior Monsters, Power Quest, the Pokemon games, obviously, just so many solid options. I remained a Nintendo fanboy through most of my life. It changed for a while when I moved out to California because I got a QA job with NIS America, and that introduced me to the PlayStation Vita. And I am a die-hard Vita fanboy. Like, I feel so bad that the Vita was not cared for the way that other consoles were. And I don't mean by me, I mean by the people who produced the Vita. But there were a lot of really good JRPGs and visual novel style games, especially dungeon crawlers on the Vita. Now it's kind of leaned back towards the Switch, but that's mostly because it's easier for me to do my streaming off of the Switch and the PC. So while I would say I still lean more heavily towards Nintendo, I do play. I play PlayStation games. I did Final Fantasy VII Remake. I play PC games. I've been super addicted to Hades and Rogue Legacy 2, and then of course the fair amount of Switch games as well.
Okay, you were in a lot of video games. Just to name a few: Ghost of Tsushima. Freaking, you played a Seraphite in Last of Us 2, man.
I did. Yes, I did.
A lot of drama around that game. It wasn't as good as I would have liked it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. No. It not your fault. It's not your fault.
Right.
It's your fault.
You have nothing to do with that, man. But yeah, how you liking Ghost? Have you played Ghost of Tsushima?
I'll be honest, my game backlog is so big. The funny thing is, if it weren't for my Twitch streams, I don't know if I would have played as many games in the last couple months as I have. Because, like, the Twitch streams are quote-unquote work, but they have led to me playing a wider variety of games than I otherwise would have. For example, I do not think I would have touched Final Fantasy VII Remake, not out of lack of interest, but just out of, like, it wasn't prevalent enough for me to actually sit down and take the time, were it not for a close friend of mine being a huge fan of Final Fantasy and me going, well, I've actually never touched Final Fantasy VII ever, so this might be a cool experience if I play through the story for the first time ever on stream. So we committed Fridays to that, and I think that combination of interest from my friend getting me hyped up and having the opportunity to share that blind playthrough experience with my stream audience is what directly led to me going, yeah, let's do this. Let's make this happen. So I as much as Twitch streaming has taken away from my free time to play games, it has also led to me playing games I don't think I ever would have made the time for otherwise. Ace Attorney is another really big one. We're about 2/5 of the way through the final case of the first game, and not only did Twitch streaming bring me to play the Ace Attorney game at all, but now that I've played the first game, I absolutely want to play through the second and third game on my own time, like when I'm chilling in bed with my wife. So it has given back just as much as it has quote unquote taken away.
Pokemon Go. Well, not Pokemon Go. Who's your favorite Pokemon? Because you said you started, like, that was one of the games you started with the Game Boy and everything. I started with, like, Red and Blue.
Go ahead.
No, and then I worked my way up to, like, I guess the Sega Genesis, Streets of Rage, and everything. But Pokemon was one of my first games that I started playing that got me into gaming.
Right. I've played every main line of the series up through X and Y. I did play Sun and Moon, and I think I finished the main story, but that's kind of where I fell off of the main line series. I have not touched Sword or Shield at all. And it's not because I don't think they're good games. It's because just I've moved on to other things. I've experienced that routine enough times that I want to try something different. I am a really big fan of the spin-off games. Like Pokemon Rumble was really fun for me. Pinball. When are we going to get a remaster of Pinball? When are we going to get Pokemon XY Pinball or something like that? The trading card game that was for Game Boy Color. I can sing pretty much all of those songs by heart. So yeah, those Pokemon has definitely been an established part of my childhood as well.
I feel that too. Wait, so spin-off games. You didn't play the GameCube ones?
I did not play Coliseum or XD.
What?
I
Those
did
are
not.
like what in this
I
thing?
did
Yo!
not. I did
Man,
not.
yo.
My brother played them extensively, so I lived them vicariously through him. But I do understand that I missed out on what was basically the better Pokemon Stadium. Don't worry,
Spin-off.
I'm aware. I'm fully aware. But
It
but
probably would not hurt you to actually go through them.
in my defense, the number of hidden gems that I have experienced far outweighs it. Bomberman 64, The Second Attack, Legend of Mana, Jade Cocoon 2, like Crystal Chronicles, all of these hidden gems of that same era. There's a lot of them that I was around for and did experience. So the one or two that I let slip that were also arguably more mainstream, I hope you'll forgive me for that.
Well, yeah, that's cool, I guess. But like, I'm just saying, like, even now, I think I would find it enjoyable to go back and replay through it. So I think you should, because the story behind it is a pretty good one. I like it. I like the whole
Right.
concept of healing Pokemon and purifying their hearts in order to purify the shadow Pokemon.
Yep.
I just think you enjoy it if you actually went back and played them. That's why I'm just like, you play Pokemon games heavy and you played a lot of the spin-offs. I
Right.
think those are the best spin-off games we've had. The better Coliseum.
I actually probably would not disagree with you. It's just the fact that I haven't had the chance to actually play them.
Mm-hmm. So as a fellow
I
Pokemon,
haven't played them. I haven't played them sooner. So
oh my, yo, anyone watch this, and this goes to you too. I would suggest you actually like either emulate them or like find some way to play them, because I think you guys would enjoy them. They're like probably the best Pokemon spin-off games we have. So yeah, there's that. Now, Dee, you said you want to talk about something related to Pokemon Go too. You were mentioning it to me earlier, but I don't know what it was.
oh yeah. So in Japan, like a 56-year-old beat up a 55-year-old in Pokemon Go
What?
over a gym. I think these guys. So from the article, I got the gist of it. They met like years ago playing Pokemon Go, but they were rival teams. So I think one was like yellow, one was like blue, and they just happened to be at the same gym trying to like turn it their color. And the guy noticed that his friend was in the car trying to fight the gym and take it over, and he just like grabbed him by his chest, pulled him out the car, and like kicked his side view mirror and stuff like that. And he got arrested for it.
What the flip? It's a damn game. Like, I'm more surprised. Was the person who assaulted a part of Team Instinct?
They don't say the team. They just say it looks like red, blue, and yellow are the new colors now. I guess that was
because like I would not see. I could see that happening between Team Valor and Team Mystic. Like I describe Team Instinct as like if Team Valor and Team Mystic are like Batman and Iron Man throwing money at each other. Team Instinct is Spider-Man picking the dollar bills up off the ground once the fight's done.
Oh yeah,
They're just like, I'm just happy to be here. Don't mind me.
Instinct is yellow, right?
I feel like that's the more.
I'm yellow. That's what I picked in because I was like, everybody's gonna pick red and blue. Let me do something different, which was the worst idea I made. Worst decision I made because I can never stay in a gym. I'm always just get knocked out.
So instinct, or to quote like a SpongeBob scene, Mystic and Valor are just sitting around at like 8 o'clock at night, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I'm glad there's no way I could stay out that late. Who goes and tries to grab gyms at 4 or at 3 in the morning?" Instinct wakes up in their bed. Oh boy, 3 a.m. The only time that we could get gyms is if we went outside when everybody else was dead asleep and we took them. And so like then we'd go to sleep, and if those rare occasions where we wake up in the morning at like 9:30 and we check and it's still a yellow gym and we go, "Oh, how nice."
It's so good. Funny because I work overnights, so the only time I was able to keep a gym was on my way to work. Like at 12 o'clock, I would take it over and be like, "All right, all I need to stay there is 8 hours, so I get the 50 coins, and I don't care what happens next." That's sad.
Right. That was the goal. The goal was not for me to keep a gym. It was for me to get my 50 coins for the day.
That's it.
Yeah.
I know in Jersey, a lot of people don't play. So when I did play it a lot, I think it was safe for Team Yellow to put there. Like I would leave my Pokemon in the gym, and not care. The only thing I would hate is that it would be there for like 3 or 4 days, and they didn't give the Pokemon coins for like the 3 to 4 days. They would just give it to you as if you held it for 8 hours. It's like, what's the point? Just hurry up and knock me out so I could do. I got so used to just wanting the coins that I hated being there for 3 days.
That could be a new form of trolling, like joining a team that you don't support, going to their gyms and constantly topping up their Pokemon so that they don't ever get knocked out and they can't claim their coins. And while they're in the gym, they can't use them in other gyms. So you could hold them hostage in their own gym.
Oh wow, that's actually horrible. Oh man, I've actually been playing it recently along. So there's one like, and I've noticed that. So there's times where people just don't touch gyms at all. Like there was this gym I was in. And my Pokemon's probably the strongest one in there. The rest of them were just like Pidgeys and like Danos and like some other random like baby mons and like what. And everyone's in there like weak, and it stayed like that for a whole week where nobody touched that gym, and I don't know why. Like everything in there was weak at that point. I was like, I'm not gonna bother feeding my Pokemon a berry because we're gonna lose anyway. Because we got a bunch of baby mons in there. And then for a whole week, like my Pokemon just stayed there and no one touched it. And I'm like, why? So I guess in a sense, my Pokemon was basically useless for a whole 7 days because there was nothing I could do. Like I couldn't call him back, and he was just sitting there. And the mons in there are kind of useless. And you don't get more than 50 coins in a day, so. I don't know. I feel like there should be like a recall feature or something.
Just to get your coins and stuff, get it out of there.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Pokemon, Sean?
Luxray has really grown on me, and it's both just been through the fact that I enjoyed him a lot when he first showed up as Shinx in Gen 4, and also because I've ended up using the name as my go-to for RPG characters. Like when I named my character in Dragon Quest XI, it's Lux. When I make the male Selkie for Crystal Chronicles, their name is going to be Lux. You know, it just kind of, it works from like a generic RPG standpoint. It's a nice, simple, clean protagonist name. But my team of 6 has always been, I believe, Pidgeot, Luxray, Espeon, Goodra. It's hard because I try to keep the typing different. I try to have a widespread team. I like Mudsdale a lot. Mudsdale is a ground type that really grew on me. And then if I'm going for aesthetic, Nidorina, just because I've always been a huge fan of Nidorina. Oh, probably Bryxon or Delphox. It's Delphox for the fire type coverage. So if I had to do pure type coverage difference, it would be Luxray, Goodra, Espeon, Mismagius, Pidgeot, and Delphox. Did I ever say Delphox twice?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Hold on. Luxray, Delphox, Espeon, Goodra, Pidgeot. Who's the last one? Mudsdale. There's the 6.
That's a pretty solid team. I think my favorite mon has to be Zorua, just because I love like the whole illusion and the color, like red and black. They're 2 of my favorite colors.
Between the Zoroark, Zeraora, and Lucario trifecta, I actually think Zoroark is the coolest.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I don't know why Lucario gets so much like love, and I'm like, it's cool, I guess. I know he's voiced by Sean Schemmel in Smash Bros. And all of it.
Right.
But come on, like Zoroark is a better one. I don't know. Like
I'm like super basic with mine. I'm probably gonna get a lot of people tilted, but I like Charizard. Charizard is one of my favorite.
Charizard
Charizard is my favorite. Charizard.
That's probably what like the Italian or Spanish translation translates back into. So I'm not gonna count it against you.
I say it just to get people mad. It's like my form of way of saying like I like Hunter. Like if I'm talking to some people, I'm like, I just want to get them mad today. I'll say Hunter X Hunter and like piss people off. But it would have to be Charizard and Rayquaza because I just love the way he looks.
What was I gonna say? That's why I'll say my Hero Academy to people. Or instead of Fooly Cooly or FLCL, just say Fluckle. I really like episode 4 of Fluckle.
People get so pissed easily.
I was doing a live Discord Q&A with the ReZero community, and I did my Burger King foot lettuce voice, and I said he plays the role of Subaru Natsuki, who gets transported to the world of Iseki.
People,
Oh man.
how many people you got typed from that?
Oh, they knew I was joking,
Okay.
but like because of the deliberate bastardization of the names, they were like, "Oh, I can I feel like I know someone who would pronounce it like this and it hurts my soul."
Some people unironically pronounce things like that. It's kind of funny. Like, have you seen people that spell it like Naruto? Bro,
Oh, I say Naruto, and my daughter freaks out. She's like, "Dad, it's Naruto. Don't say it like that." Yeah, I like Naruto better, dude. And she just gets pissed.
or Naruto Tsunaki. Those are just like, I've seen
So,
that
go
happen a
ahead.
few times. My bad. No, I was.
There was a project I booked recently on Voice 123 that was basically it was a promo video for a bunch of anime figurines, and the client provided a pronunciation guide. Like there are some clients that are just like, we expect you to know how to say these, but the client, to their credit, included a pronunciation guide on how to say the character names. But I already knew how to say them, like, you know, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto Shippuden, Gaara, stuff like that. So I did my audition and I booked the job, and the client told me, "I just want you to know it was super easy selecting you for this job because you were one of only 2 talent who actually pronounced any of the character names correctly, and you were the only talent who did so with enthusiasm."
The anime fans are crazy. It you you heard of Michael B. Jordan, famous actor. He did like some like question, like Q&A, and somebody asked him, "What's his favorite anime?" And he pronounced Naruto Shippuden all wrong. I forgot how he said it, but because of
Probably,
that,
probably Naruto Shippuden or like that.
Shippuden or something like
Shippuden,
that.
Shippuden.
The comment section roasted him. Like all the comments, I think they had to turn off comments, but they just roasted him on how he said it. So I think that's why they picked you. So you know how to say it with enthusiasm, the right way. You hear about like the My Hero fans
No, tell me.
sending death threats to the writer?
What? Wait, Japanese, English, or
To,
both?
to the manga because they want their ships to be real. I think they want like Deku and Bakugo to be together.
How many
Or like
people did this?
there's a lot. There's a lot that it made Japanese use and it came all the way over here, but the writer has been getting death threats for that bullshit. People want
I guess the reason why I'm asking is I'm curious if this is something that like it got reported on because like 2 or 3 people did it, or if this is something that's been happening in the number of the dozens where the creator has had to speak out against it.
No, it's a lot. The My Hero fans are horrible.
Okay.
They're crazy, dude.
I'm sorry to hear that, and I don't condone it.
I'm not one of those fans, but I feel sorry for them, man. Sonic Mega, how did you get the name, man?
I was 12 years old, trying to make an account on the IGN forums, and it said you had to be 13 to make an account, so I lied, like most 12-year-olds do. And of course, I had to come up with a username. God, they're really grinding my gears here. So I was like, what can I do for a username? And in my brilliant wisdom, I took my 2 favorite video game characters, Sonic and Mega Man, slammed their names together, took off the man, because I wasn't a man yet. I was still a young boy. And I was Sonic Mega. And the website went, cool, we don't have that yet, so now you do. And I went, awesome, I'm keeping it. And, you know, in a day and age when most people had to have, like, XXX underscore tilde Goku Sephiroth 675 underscore XXX to have a simple name like Sonic Mega, easy to remember, easy to type in. So I kept it, and anytime I've been able to use it for a website, I do.
I know Suna got his name because his favorite anime is Hitman Reborn. So he that's how he got his name. Favorite superhero? Because I see that you played like a lot of superheroes in, was it Marvel
TLDR?
Mm-hmm. I was always a Spider-Man fan.
You know what? That's what I was about to say too. I swear it was different prior to this, but between Tom Holland and just in general how Spider-Man has been treated over the years, I really have grown on him and come to appreciate the type of character that he is. And I'm a Spider-Man fan through and through. I really am. I know it may seem mainstream, but the boy did him justice. He did him right, and I really appreciate the character.
I was a Spider-Man fan since I was younger. I think he was like one of the first comics that I got into. Black Lives Matter, man. Let's talk about that, man, because I see you very proactive on Twitter about that. What are your thoughts on it? What is your take on it?
Black Lives Matter. Trans lives matter. People of color lives matter. It matters. Yep. I mean, that phrase itself encompasses basically the whole belief. This all started in part because people were just you have to consider that people were going, please stop killing members of our community as frequently as you do. Please stop brutalizing our communities as often as you do. And you have to keep that in mind when you see how people in positions of authority chose to respond to the request of stop using your funding to terrorize us. And look at how they chose to answer to that. And then they turn around and they say, you know, look at how violent these people are being towards us, when to my knowledge, it wasn't the protesters that started macing people in the face. It wasn't the protesters that were kneeling on necks. It wasn't the protesters beating up on people with batons and stuff like that. It wasn't the protesters being the cause of case after case after case of just straight up murdering people of marginalized communities. There's a freaking video that came out not even half a week ago of an officer losing control of their canine dog, and it goes up to sniff a community neighbor's dog through a fence, had no actual access to the dog. It's just poking its nose through the fence, and the cop pulls out his gun and shoots the other dog through the fence, point blank. Wow. And it's like, what can you say to defend yourself on something like that? What can you possibly, when you, and the fact that it's being reported now, as some people have said, it's not like this is something that's new. It's only being reported more often now that it's easier than ever to document it happening. And you have to think about the decades that this has been going on and hasn't been documented. And that's really what this is all about, is forcing people to acknowledge that this is not something new. It's something that is ingrained in the very history of this nation and in nations across the world. And at first, all people were doing was saying, stop doing this. And this is what it has become in response. So I support Black Lives Matter. And I don't care if people want to say that I'm controversial because I'm choosing to take that stance. There are people that I respect, people who have mentored me, people who have given me opportunities in this industry, who then turn around and have to face discrimination in their lives, in their neighborhoods, in their careers, just because of the color of their skin or who they identify, or okay, I'm going to specify that, because who they identify with is a lot different if you identify with the Black community versus if you identify with Nazi supporters. So, but because of things that they don't have control over, they have to fight 20 times harder than the rest of us, than someone like me, who is a straight white male for all intents and purposes, just to have the same opportunities if they're even given them in the first place. So, Black Lives Matter.
A lot of people seem to think that the term like Black Lives Matter like just means like nobody else matters, but they're not like really like doing their research or even listening to people.
It's reminding you that Black people matter as much as everybody else. Like, the people who are saying, well, all lives matter. Well, yes, all lives should matter, but you don't treat Black people that way. You don't act as though they matter. So that's the point of the movement, is saying, yes, all lives matter, including the people who are not being treated that way. There doesn't need to be a White Lives Matter protest, because white people get way more opportunities and privilege than any other race on this planet consistently. There's no point in holding it because there's nothing to be gained. There's no rights that need to be recognized. We often get them without even having to do anything. We often get them when we don't deserve them, like the privileges that we get in court, or the leniency that we get when crimes are committed, often happens whether we request it or not, just because we're white, and that's unacceptable.
No, I agree with everything you said, man.
Sorry, that got a little charged, but
No, it was perfect. It was
No,
perfect, man.
it's the right tone you should have when it comes to this kind of stuff. And yeah, I agree. I also agree with you. It's something I spoke about a few times in this channel when we had something related to BLM is that some people just don't seem to understand. When like one of the main things is that Blue Lives Matter shouldn't be a thing. The reason Black Lives Matter was made is because one specific race of people are not being treated equal, and because one specific group of people is being hurt at the moment. That's why the term that's why or the phrase is Black Lives Matter. It's not
right.
because others don't matter. It's because the ones that need attention right now is the Black community.
I think of I
And I'm
think of
glad
that
that
phrase near the end of Animal Farm where it says all creatures are equal, but some are more equal than others. And that's kind of the mentality that I see a lot in today's world.
I haven't read Animal Farm since I was in. Wow. What is your favorite anime?
I have a couple. It's usually based on genre. Comedy would have to be a tie between Daily Lives of High School Boys, which is the hardest I have ever laughed at a clown nose sound effect. Cromartie High School is a classic. Mr. Osamatsu is a new discovery I had recently that like I love. I can tell that I like skit based comedies where it's each episode is like 3 or 4 different situations and we see how the characters interact. For drama, definitely Anohana, the flowers we saw that day. I got to QA the DVD release of Anohana, and I have to tell you, it's very hard to check for errors on the screen when you can't see the subtitles through your own tears. And it's very awkward when you are crying, audibly sobbing in the testing room with 2 other people sitting nearby you testing their own thing. It's very awkward to be in that situation. But of course, I grew up on the Toonami block, and I'm a huge fan of shows like Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop, Full Metal Alchemist, both the original and Brotherhood. There's a lot of anime that have stuck with me throughout the years. And I think ReZero is absolutely going to be one of those as well.
I was gonna say, since you are like usually like at least for voice actors, do you ever like look at the manga in reference to like what you're going to be doing later, or like as an example by chance? Because I know some people reference like what they should be sounding or like the type of pitch they want to have based on like the Japanese voice actors. Is usually like the anime comes out first in Japan, and
Right.
then so would you say that you do like any type of research beforehand, or like whether it be looking through the manga or like checking out the Japanese VAs and then add it onto your work?
Okay. Sorry, I was processing the earlier part of it. Can you repeat the main part of that question for me?
Basically, like what I'm trying to say is, do you, for reference, look at either manga or Japanese voice actors when it comes to your own way you want to voice it?
We will often have the Japanese track as reference when we are dubbing the episode. They will do what's called a preview, where we'll preview the lines in Japanese that we're about to be recording in English. And that helps set the emotional context and gives us an idea of the intensity that we need to do. And then it's a matter of finding that balance between honoring the original Japanese while also adding our own influence on it where appropriate. Manga is one of those cases where I have not actually done that yet in terms of deliberately reading the manga before recording for the show, but I'm not against doing that. I would be willing to do that if I had access to the materials, but in most cases, watching the anime series itself usually is enough for me to understand what I need to do for a given scene.
Huh. That's a really good answer. Oh, okay, I really like that. Okay, I was just asking because it's one of those things where it's like, I wonder if like Japanese voice actors in that case would go through it themselves or something,
Mm-hmm.
But it's something I've always wondered because especially right now, since I know for like some of the webtoons, like they're going through it and they're dubbing them and then they're subbing them as well, or like putting them in their own like VA. Japanese VAs are like going through it, and I wonder if like they go through like the author notes and like because they leave like the little notes that hey, this should be a bit more pitched up or something,
Right.
and like they do it that way. It's very curious.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the director. Sometimes directors want as close a match to the Japanese as possible. I remember for one of the video game projects I worked on, the audition side specifically said, we want it to sound as close to the Japanese as possible. We want a perfect voice match if possible. Some others just only are concerned about you matching the intent and the focus of the character. So if it ends up sounding a little older or a little younger, as long as the message is still there, that's what matters. So it's really a case-by-case basis as far as that goes.
How did you get into voice? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Suna. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask him since I know he does watch anime and stuff. What is his anime? Because this is something we like to ask everyone, right? What is your anime waifu?
Patricia from ReZero, because she's super loving, super defensive, has a cute growl, a cute purr, and those eyes, man, I could get lost in those eyes. So Patricia is definitely the waifu for me.
All right, it's just something I wanted to say. I'm sorry, Deez, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I just wanted to ask him. You know, your question was way more better than mine. I just wanted to ask, how did you get into voice acting?
ReZero, or not ReZero, Adult Swim and Neopets, because I would stay up super late doing my dailies on Neopets whenever the server reset for the day, and that usually meant I was up late listening to Adult Swim in the background. And one evening, I ended up just out of boredom visiting Adult Swim's website. I got to see a preview clip of an upcoming episode of Trinity Blood, and it had a behind-the-scenes clip showing Troy Baker in the booth recording for Abel Nightroad. And that's when I finally saw a voice actor doing their job in person, so to speak. And that is when it clicked for me that, like, every time, I had heard cartoons before. My brother and I had even taken turns doing voices for characters in the Nintendo 64 games that we played. But I hadn't actually understood the concept of voice acting until I saw that clip. And as soon as I realized what it was, I knew that I wanted to get involved with it. And that's really just what started the ball rolling for me.
I know you play Guido Mista.
Guido Mista, yep.
Yes, and JoJo's. I just started JoJo, so I'm not quite up to there. So I did a little research, and he has this thing called Sex Pistols. So I immediately had to look at what that is, and it's so freaking cool. I just finished part 2.
Yeah,
JoJo,
I voice all 6 of the Sex Pistols. I do a distinct voice for each of them in addition to voicing Guido Mista. So I'm really proud of that because it's my chance to show off my vocal range and my ability to make minor adjustments to similar voices in order to come up with unique characters on a consistent basis.
That is so. I can't wait to get to that part. I know everybody's telling me that the part that I'm up to, Stardust Crusaders, it's the best in the series, but after seeing, cause I looked up the Sex Pistols, I was like, what is this? And I saw a couple of videos on it. I was like, oh, this shit's dope. Can't wait to get into it. Questions we ask every voice actor is any tips if somebody potentially wants to get into voice acting, follow your footsteps.
I give the same 4 links every time. I say, first of all, go to www.iwanttobeavoiceactor.com and read every single entry on that site. Every single one. If you waited to even speak into a microphone until you've read every single blog post on that site, you will be miles ahead of the game compared to other amateurs just getting into voice acting for the first time. Your foundation of knowledge will save you so much time in improving yourself after you get started. Second link is voiceactingmastery.com. It's a podcast and interview series and sometimes online workshops hosted by Crispin Freeman, voice of Winston in Overwatch and many other characters as well. I tell people to give a listen there because it'll help you. You might discover a story from someone about how they got involved in the industry that resonates with your own path. I tell people go to voiceactingclub.com so that you can start networking with your current and future peers. And then finally, voiceovervoiceactor.com for a list of warm-ups that you can do to start practicing warming up your vocal cords, and also a book you might consider purchasing for additional insight into the industry.
What animes are you watching right now? I guess it's not really too much. Just in your free time, what animes are you enjoying?
I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. Between working and my Twitch streams, I've had no personal time at all. Like, I'm glad that I'm coming back as Subaru Natsuki for ReZero, because if I were watching any one show, it would probably be that. So I'm pretty much watching the show as it comes out and then dubbing it like a week later. But I am very grateful to be in a position where the major reason why I can't watch anime is because I'm busy voicing for anime. Because then not only do I get to see the finished product with everybody else, but I get to share in that celebration at the same time as everyone else as well.
Everybody out there, man, thank you for tuning in to another episode with our special guest, Sean Chiplock. Like I said in the beginning of the stream, and I'm going to reiterate and say it again, please follow him on Twitter and Twitch, Sonic Mega, and starting on the 27th, 11 a.m. PST for the next 7 days after that, he will be streaming Crystal Chronicles, 1 gifted sub after each completed stage, 1 game copy giveaway after each completed year, and a special Twitter raffle at the end. And you can catch them.
Dang, you remembered all of that. I'm super proud of you. Good job, dude.
24th, got a high school. Dowie, 26. Natsuki.
It's a good week to be a weeb. It's a good week to be a weeb.
Well, yeah.
Good week to be Sean. With that said, man, me and Suna, our links will be in the show notes below, as well as Sean Shitlock. Please check him out. He's a good dude. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Take care.